morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss, heading into the RTH Open here. The ES is trading inside day right now, inside the boundaries of the previous session's range. Currently trading just 36.75 points of range. That's 32% of ADR right now. And you'll notice here we've had a declining volatility profile here for this market, especially over the last several days, coming out of the holiday shortened week last week especially. So again, just very quietly reopening here. We have a very clear range, 6,800 to about 6,855, and that's your range right now as this market kind of trades, or rather 6,865, as this market kind of trades back and forth early on. Again, for the ES, we're still seeing kind of an upward bias in the short term here, but after this strong high and after that October FOMC key level, after this lower high and significant sell-off, is this going to become another deep pullback that leads to a continuation down again? We're inside this larger trading range. We can trade anywhere in this range right now and still turn back into the range. So this is a super large range. We're within it right now. It's going to take a lot of juice to get out of it. But if we do here, to get through 6950, starts to open up 7,000, and the next market structure level up will be 7,400. Can we get there heading into Q1? We will see how that plays out. But right now, inside day compression. Could see a lot of back and forth here, fade the edges until proven otherwise. Looking at the NQ, similar price action with the inside day. Heading into the RTH Open here, you'll see how this market right now continues to be within that narrow 3-day range. Also falling volatility here, heading into the tail end of that holiday shortened week and coming out of it now. And again, still a nice short-term rotation to the upside, but is this deep pullback going to be another lower high that leads to another deep continuation below? Or is this it? Was that pullback enough? We did take out those lows. It was great rejection, a great failure of this bar. That can tend to lead to another rotation to the upside off of these pivot lows. It's just a battle here within this larger trading range at the moment. All right, looking at crude oil. This one here pulling back a little bit here to begin the RTH trade at the moment, or its RTH trade heading into that window right now. Inside day for this one as well. So across the board so far, inside days. This one continues to trend down within that sloping range. We're coming into the tail end of the bearish seasonal window here for crude oil. Are we going to see a bullish move during the bullish seasonal window that opens up in the next week or so? A bullish seasonal window tends to open up into the end of the year and into the beginning of the year. Can we get a move that takes us, say, between 54 and 56 back to 64? And again, not really seeing a whole lot of strength out of crude over the last year of trading, and even during the bullish seasonal window that we're talking about, it was the most muted in a very long time. So again, how much upside do we get? Do we even get a bounce here at all? So again, watching for perhaps a wipeout phase for a fade and turnaround, but until then, still within the downtrending channel. All right, looking at gold futures here, down 0.9% right now. Big bullish move up. We did come into those pivot highs here, those pivot lows, and then you have the outer edges as well. Somewhere in this range, it just keeps prices within those boundaries here until proven otherwise, until we're ready to see the next phase of expansion, which likely won't be right at this moment. We could continue to see strength here overall, and that pivot's going to be very important, because to find acceptance beyond that pivot high starts to open up the previous pivot high and perhaps even the 4,500 market structure edge. So still showing strength. You're starting to see the bullish Pima trigger zone open up here and provide additional bullish support. So again, Nothing says we can't continue to push through and grind into new highs. It's just keep an eye on that pivot high right there in the meantime. Looking at the YM, this one's up marginally at the moment following the previous session's pullback here. This one had a bit more weakness against tech and against the S&P. You can see this one closing below the previous session's low. A higher range bar yesterday, not quite super high range, but higher range than the ES and NQ respectively. Today so far, a little bit of a modest thrust reversal developing off the lows, which could get us back to the previous session's midpoint. So to continue to hold that previous low here, which is currently the 300 level, 319s, any retest or retrade into that zone still could provide a bounce for a continuation into 47,550, which is that midpoint from the previous session. So we could be looking at a little bit of a bullish push toward that target here early in the session. One thing to keep an eye on, though, is following a lower value relationship, a bearish close, a down move yesterday. After this bounced in the morning, is it going to be met with selling pressure? Do bears defend into morning strength for an inverted check mark move down? If so, this could begin the next phase of weakness here. Keep an eye on the YM. It is showing the most weakness at this time. Looking at Bitcoin, the previous session, the pattern continues. We've been looking at these rotations lately and noticing the bearish continuation to the downside within the downward price discovery phase. And yesterday, on Friday, we noted that again in the trading room. And yesterday here on a Monday, we've seen this thing continue downward in a similar fashion. Now we are bouncing, heading into the RTH Open here. We're approaching the previous session's midpoint in Bitcoin here. Up a 2.5% nearly, not bad, but look at the range right now, super narrow, 28% of ADR. This pullback right now, again, kind of like the question we just asked with the YM, after this morning strength, is it met with selling pressure? That lower high could lead to an inverted checkmark move down, and we're dropping through 84s up ahead. So do we get that continuation? Basically, if that's day one move, similar to this, then that pullback could be met with selling pressure and weakness, and you drop into the end of the day. That would extend us to the downside. Lastly, in our trading room here, we also quantified the recent 8 to 10 day rotations in both directions, the most recent 4 to 6 rotations, and we're looking at a pretty decent rotation downward. From this pivot high can be anywhere between, say, 17 and 20,000 points, and perhaps even more in some cases. So I would say 20,000 points from that pivot high could be easy, and that would take you somewhere between 73.5 and 75 as the next target over the next, well, 8 to 10 day stretch from the pivot extremes. So something to keep an eye on there for Bitcoin. Looking at ETH, this one also continues to trend downward, continues to mirror Bitcoin's trajectory right now, downward trend with these rotations to the downside. We've also measured the ADR here as well, and you're looking at a 1,000 to 1,200 point rotation to the downside. So from this pivot high, that means we could drop anywhere between 1,900 and 2,100. That's basically your 1,000 point to 1,200 point window here from the pivot extreme. That's the opportunity here. So again, this early pullback could be met with selling pressure, maybe at 2,900, and you're looking for a drop that could continue again over an 8 to 10 day span. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out here heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.